How's it going, everybody? It's me, Kenny from DFSXperts. I want to break down this 9-game slate for y'all today a little bit differently. I do want to apologize to y'all for not doing a video on Friday. I actually did do a video. I downloaded it. We had a really bad storm. It took me forever to download it, or to get it done because I kept on fumbling more than I do usually. And I think like I did just a second ago, like I itched my nose, but I kept on having to itch it over and over and over again. And it looked horrible. So I was able to get one done, in a way later than I wanted to. As I downloaded it, storm came, boom, power went out, messed everything up. And so I just figured that was just someone's way to let me know that it wasn't a good day to be doing a video. So we're gonna do it a little differently today. We're gonna cover the main things and really not take a. Like I try to do with these videos. I try not to take a lot of time. It's in my nature to ramble. I could probably talk for an hour and a half about any slate, really, just cover every single angle and talk about everything about 10 times. But y'all don't want to see that shit, and I'm not going to give it to you. So we're gonna just break things down kind of quickly. Like I said, 9-game slate today. And the first thing I'll tell you with the pitching is the pitching's pretty shit. Not some, just in the fact that the top end talent is just too expensive. Garrett Cole, Clayton Kershaw, I can easily fade both of those guys. Cole, I do have as much better than Kershaw. Kershaw to me is not even. I think Eduardo Rodriguez is going to have a better night than Kershaw. If that's a hot take, I guess there's a hot take there. But I don't care if he's in a great pitcher's park, which he is. Kershaw, I'm talking about. He's not the same pitcher, and he'll have to show me, 100 pitch outing where he goes back to the way he's pitched last year and the years before. Even last year, he was towards the end of the year, he was starting to regress a little bit. I'm not saying that, I'm not going to definitely tell you that Clayton Kershaw is on the downturn of his career or anything like that. But the injuries kind of worry me. Just the overall not, lasting 5-6 innings, getting touched up a little bit. San Diego does have some right-handed batters like, Will Myers, Perella, Hunter Renfroe, and Villanueva specifically, are people that I would, I wouldn't stack against them, but, one-offs are perfectly acceptable here. I don't like him tonight at all. Berrios, against Kansas City, yeah, they strike out a lot. But Berrios is kind of another one of those guys. I mean, he hasn't been hurt or anything, but I mean, he's not. Just something seems off with him. Of the stud pitchers, like I said, Cole is my favorite. But again, Cole hasn't been pitching that well as of late. And to pay that kind of price for him, even if he has like a 20 for DraftKings, say he gets you 25 points. I mean, yeah, that's good, but you're paying a lot for him. So I think you can get similar production out of, say, Eduardo Rodriguez, like I mentioned earlier. Texas has got some left-handed bat. A lot of their power comes from the left-handed bats like Chu, Mazzara, Profar. Those will get neutralized tonight. And Rodriguez doesn't have. It's not like he's a lot of people that play him like me. I've played him. He's a pitcher I like to play because he's usually in a pretty good price range. He's actually a little cheaper tonight than usual, but. Those of you that play him know that, he has those innings where he'll throw 30, 35 pitches, get in some trouble, allow a couple walks, get into a long at bat with somebody. So it's not like it's a foolproof plan. They're, pitchers such as like Chris Archer, he has a better matchup, but he's only projected, I think, to, throw 75 pitches. You don't really want to mess with that. Clevenger against Cincinnati, he's just, I worry about Scooter. I worry about Votto. Tucker Barnhart. There's enough there that he's a good option. But to me, of those pitchers in that range, Eduardo Rodriguez and Chase Anderson are the two guys I would build around on DraftKings, and that'll open you up for pretty much anything you want to do. Boston and Cleveland are the top stacks. I'm not going to break news there, and it's just a matter of getting to them. And if you skip, the top for DraftKings, if you skip the top 5 guys, especially Montas, Anderson and Rodriguez, that's probably where I would go. And that's, as of now, that is where I'm going to go there. I did have, I was playing around with the idea of playing Danny Duffy, but I don't think I got the balls to do it. If he was like at the 4,500, if he was at a Perdomo price point, which Perdomo, by the way, isn't a terrible play. Dodgers are hitting pretty well, but I mean, it's not again, it's Petco Park, great pitching park. Unless you think he's going to get shelled, it's not a terrible option there. If you're wanting to go, if you really feel, Cole, you go Cole and you go Perdomo, that's all right. You could even go Cole, and I guess if you want to mess with Danny Duffy, They're just a lot. There are a couple of right-handed bats I worry about with him: Garver, Dozier, Rex Grossman, even a couple of the left, Polanco, Rosario. It's not somebody that I'm like, yeah, man, I feel great about him, but I don't hate him. I'm not stacking against him tonight. I'll put it that way. But again, if you stay in that Rodriguez, Anderson range on both sites, it'll allow you to do, it'll allow you to get to Boston. It'll allow you to get to Cleveland. And you can do, pretty much as you please. And I mean, I'm not, again, Ramirez, Lindor, Bogarts. My top 2 outfielders are both Boston, Dub, Betts, and Rodriguez, JD. Make sure JD's starting tonight. If he's not, then that's just going to be, you can just take that somewhere else and, go Yelich or Pittsburgh is somebody that I think won't be really that highly owned, but you can get 2 good bats in Dickerson and Colin Moran. Both of them are Dickerson's 2,500 in FanDuel, Moran's for 2,400. That'll allow you, in a if you do go Cole, those are 2 bats that I would definitely have, because that's going to free you up to get a little Boston exposure in, or a little Cleveland. People that are worried about the late night hammer, that's an expression that you hear a lot about, which is for those of you all that don't know that term, it's just having exposure to the late games. There's a feeling as though if you have all your exposure to early games, that you're just going to watch your score come down. In some cases that's true, but there's no real logic to it. If you put out a great score, if you have great players, and if they do their job, then they're going to be up high, and it's just going to be people catching up to you. In like say in basketball, it did get to the point where you did have to have some late game exposure, because a lot of those guys did play high paced games, and people would there would be a lot of ownership there. So just you would have to have some exposure. Tonight, it's the Dodgers San Diego game, not in the hitter's park, and then Chicago and San Francisco. And what I'll say to that is, I don't like either one of those pitchers. That it's a low projected run total for both of them, but it's a lefty against Chicago. So I mean, Baez, Contreras, Addison Russell, and Baez has been hitting great. And then with Kyle Hendricks for Chicago. So I mean, Brandon Belt, Brandon Crawford. You can throw in Buster Posey in there as well. Also the Panda if he plays Sandoval. I would not be surprised if that game ended up being a low-key kind of high-scoring game, because you're not, they're not. Chicago hasn't been playing as well, but I still respect those righty bat, Contreras and Baez. You got pay up for them, but if you're feeling them, and if you feel like you have to have a late night hammer, then I would look at that game. I definitely think it's going to score higher than what Vegas thinks it does. I think the projected score, or I believe it's a 7.5 right now. It might. Let me make sure. Yeah, it's a 7.5 right now. I think that's a 5, at least a 6.5, 5.4 sort of, 5.4 is probably the the lowest total. I mean, they're just, they're not good pitchers. So, if you want to have a little exposure there, go ahead. If it makes you feel better, but there is some soundness there. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that don't force yourself to play late pitchers or late game players just to have some late game exposure, because you'll be missing out on players that are gonna, right in front of your face, just so you can have that late night exposure. You don't. That's not something you want to do. This is kind of running into the where I want to tell you a little something, DFS strategy overall at the end. But that's true. The late night hammer is just it's a myth. Tonight, get you as much Boston and Cleveland in as you can. It looks like the sound play. Pittsburgh as well. Tampa Bay is going to be talked about a little bit more than usual, and not just because of last night, but I mean, those are, against the lefty. You got Ramos, you got Crone, you got Robertson, you got Duffy. There's your stack there if you want to go. But all the good plays tonight are going to be early. There's no marquee late game play there. If anything, as of right now, people would say it would be the pitching. I don't buy that at all. I just, yeah, it may be a hitter's part per se, but that's still those are two bad pitchers. So, again, with Suarez, you're going. I know I'm repeating myself, but I mean, you're going Contreras, you're going Baez, you're going Russell. I'm trying to even that David Bote guy, he's good. And then, Brandon Crawford, Brandon Belt for San Francisco. You're going to have to pay up, but if it's something you feel, then go with it. And with that, I think we are about done. I appreciate y'all watching the video. If you got any questions, or if you want to get more of this, you go DFSXperts.com, get the spreadsheet, and then go to Facebook, get in our room, DFS Experts, and get in the chat. The two go hand in hand. What I do is I'll have my player pool. I'll offer 7 cores of 5 players, and as a matter of fact, at the end of this, I'm gonna do that. And it's just a way for for people that don't have that much time to do research, that sort of thing. It's just a way for you to get your you got 5 players, and you can just plug in another 4 from there. Some of them are high end players, some of them low end. It allows you room to get creative. That's just I want to help people succeed, so I try to give you every tool possible. But PGA, we got the British Open coming up next weekend, so make sure you get your spreadsheet for that. Jeremy Radke does the work for that and our NASCAR spreadsheet. This is a complete shit show this week for the Daytona races. I actually cashed in the $3 and dollar tournament with 2 people that were racing at the end. So it was that kind of race. But they do great work. The PGA I'm really excited about. And baseball, you got the All-Star break coming up, so but it's still not late, get in this week, get on the spreadsheet, and then it's gonna be, and then we'll have everything else going on. It's great, man. I'm really glad to see us growing. I posted on Facebook yesterday. We've really come a long way, and we're growing. I mean, doing it 3 years. I hope we're doing it, 3 more, 30 more. I see DFS growing right along with sports betting. But yeah, man, that's it, y'all. Like I said, I appreciate y'all watching, and like and subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see y'all tomorrow. Peace.